Hey Ponderers, welcome back to another episode of Positive and Ponder. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a long while and there's a lot to catch up on, and we're so excited for you to tune in if this is your first time. Positive and Ponder is a podcast and a community where we talk about everything and anything in the aim to give you some inspiration, some encouragement, where we share life stories and where we do life together. And so this podcast has really documented my personal life throughout the years, the things that I've learned, the wisdom I've gained, and it's really from the people around me. And I'm super blessed to have some of the greatest people in my life to share that blessing of community. And so I have some of my good friends. I have Ben and Tiffany over here, and then now my now husband Gilbert, Mr. and Mrs. Vargas, which we will be, that's pretty much the main topic of today's podcast, coming back and kind of reflecting and debriefing our wedding, our engagement, what wedding or marriage life is after the wedding. And we wanted to have Ben and Tiffany with us today. They'll be facilitating the conversation, just to make sure that we don't miss anything, and that we're not just talking about our lives, but also in the aim to encourage someone or those who are interested in getting married at some point, and the things that they've learned, and just helping us process. Basically, I feel like everything happens so quickly, so it's really important to reflect, especially big milestones and new chapters. But Ben and Tiffany, welcome to the podcast. Can you guys just share a little bit about your story and how you guys met and how long you guys been married?
I will have Ben take it away.
Yeah, so we met in kindergarten, and we've kind of known each other all throughout. We only started dating a few years after we graduated college, and then I think we dated for a year and a half, and then we got engaged and then married in 2020. So we've been married for just over 4 years now.
Long time. Feels like forever.
Yes. And like I said, actually they're one of our newer friends. We met them just when we got engaged, and it came out of the perfect timing. They've been such a blessing to us and helping us and pouring their lives into us, giving us so much wisdom and support. They even helped coordinate our wedding, which we also talk about.
They probably thought we were crazy.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Because their reaction was just, we just met you guys.
Yeah, but yeah.
But we grew stronger after that.
Yeah,
we did.
Bonded through trial.
Yeah. All right, so let's do it. Oh my gosh.
All right, so I want you guys to take us back all the way to the beginning. Remind us how you guys met.
Oh my gosh. We always try to share times of who shares what, because I feel like we have two different
We don't want no
perspectives,
FBI open up.
and let's give the quick one.
Super quick. We technically officially met through an after school program, but I did a performance, like a singing Filipino guitar serenading kind of thing.
That was my type.
Like AJ Raphael.
Yeah, specifically, that, him, and Passion. And then she recognized me, and
I had a crush on him for one day, and so we were younger. So I was in middle school. We were 3 years apart, and he was a freshman in high school. So. Yeah.
FBI open up. But there was no intention.
Nothing happened.
Because
nothing happened.
We hit up. Well, I'm not gonna say I hit up. I did not hit her up.
No, I messaged him on Facebook because I just wanted to tell him you're really good, and I stopped it there basically because it was just weird, and I just wanted to let him know that. And then after that point, I forgot about him. Years passed, and we never really saw each other, but we always had the same friends or the same circle.
Filipinos know each other.
Yeah,
that's
but we never officially met like that. until I'm a junior in high school, and then we had a mutual friend, and I found out that she knew him, and then he was doing photography at the time, and he was like jokingly saying like, hey, I'm like practicing around, like, do you mind being a model? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I was hoping he wouldn't actually remember me because it was so embarrassing of how our first interaction was, but I had no intention of liking him. I just really wanted pictures for Instagram. And so it was actually supposed to be me and the friend, but she ended up canceling, which I totally forgot that detail. I didn't know that. It would have probably been different if she went and it wasn't just us. And then we had our photo shoot. Everything was cool. And then, he said, no need to charge me. And so like, well, I have to give you something. So then I treated him to pizza at Mod Pizza.
Mod Pizza.
Cute.
Silver Spring.
Downtown Silver
Downtown.
Spring. Like I had money.
Holding it down.
And then, we ended up talking for hours after that.
Whoa.
And then we continued to stay connected, and then we started talking every single day. You know how it goes,
my
like
God.
on every app too, like on Instagram and
Snapchat.
Kik, Marco
We
Polo.
did Kik for like
What?
yeah. And then we started dating January of next year when she was 18. Trying to catch me with that.
Make it
No,
cool.
Y'all trying to
Yeah.
catch me with that. We're trying to get known. I feel very open up.
Yeah, and then after,
I just turned 21 and she just turned 18.
Yeah.
Oh, very
Yeah.
good. Very
Very
smart
good,
legally.
very
Yeah. Holding it down.
Yeah, and then we dated for 7 years after that.
Wow.
Dang.
That is incredible.
And now married. So
Wow.
We can say anything we want now because
Yeah.
we're married. Psycho man.
You locked it down. So you're
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then after the 7 years, Gil, what made you finally decide to propose?
After 7 years, I mean, so it goes. This is how serious it was for me. A real quick explanation. Like I didn't know when I was gonna propose to her. I didn't know. I had no idea. I didn't think about buying a ring. I mean, I wanted to marry her. I just didn't know how. What made it, kind of come to mind was when I found this church monument. The main thing that kind of pushed me to do this was, okay, now I know what love is, through Jesus's love. All the experiences and talks from some of the pastors, some of the older couples, and their wisdom, kind of like broke down, saying that like the marriage isn't supposed to be perfect, especially in the beginning. Like you're not supposed to have everything figured out. You can, I guess, but their wisdom was, like we didn't have it figured out.
Yeah.
Like we were broke. This now I was like, oh, so you don't have to be ready, like because when is ready? Like when is actually being ready? And it was I'd only been to that church for 2 years, and so it kind of just like came to mind. I think God was telling me like, what's stopping you from marrying her now? If you think your situation isn't ready, then you're not trusting in me. You're trusting on your own wisdom and understanding. And just go for it if you trust me. I think that was like the biggest thing. So I wasn't ready. But where we are now and what we have, I mean, we are beyond blessed and undeserving of it. So, I think the main thing was going to church and finding people, hearing people's story and seeing like what love is and what he carries,
Wow.
And I guess in a secular version of this would just be, I don't want to wait. I don't want to sit on guessing when that's going to happen. I think it was just time.
Yep.
I don't know how I was going to do it, but I think that confidence mustered from Christ and from the people that I started to know at church. So
Wow, that's amazing.
yeah, I legit didn't know how much. Like I thought you had to spend this much on an engagement ring.
Yeah.
Factors like that, just worldly factors. So that's just my
Well, I have a
thing.
question to follow up with that.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk. So, of course, there's that part where it's like, what made you want to commit to marrying me specifically rather than just marriage in general? Like, what about
Yeah,
me?
why her?
I think the time time isn't the main factor, but it's a huge factor. Like, we've been together for 7 years.
Yeah.
I know some people, that's a factor that happened, that's like part of their relationship, and sometimes it breaks, unfortunately. But I think also what just we have, the people we've, the things that we have on a one-on-one relationship, like, you've been really patient with me. I didn't understand it at the time, but like, when you just like let God do his thing, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do my thing. But I didn't know it was really just his planning. Like, I think you've definitely instilled a lot of stuff in the beginning. I mean, besides, you're beautiful, so.
I'm blushing for you.
I wasn't totally waiting for that.
Nah, but I mean, besides that, like,
Yeah.
you've definitely been there for 7 years, clearly. And, just had to put a ring on it. You take care of me. So.
That is so cute. Is anyone else loving this love right now?
This is actually very weird to us because we don't really talk about our relationship like online, or like, I mean, you'll see posts of like anniversaries and stuff, but we're pretty low key. So this is like really vulnerable, but like we love it because it was such a like learning like curve and something that we love to share to others. I think that's like one of the things that you guys have done with us, is that you've been through it, you've gone through the process, and it was a blessing for us to hear your stories. And so we're not to say that we have all the answers, absolutely not.
We also
but
don't
like,
either.
but someone might be curious as to
Yeah.
what's going on actually, behind the camera, behind closed doors. So
I think if you just like go through hardships with someone, and it's like an even, so like, oh, one end is doing the most, then it's just like, it's kind of just there to kind of actually actively do something about the next step. But the next step in general was, okay, I literally had to ask people, like, how do I start getting engaged? Like, just even the most simple questions, just like, you may think, but sometimes you really don't.
Yeah.
And so, like, yes, you need a ring, yes, you need to save money, but it's like, okay, but break it down even more. So I started asking people, a lot of, at church and family and, all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
but
That's so good.
and then, like, I think when we got engaged, we were like, oh, we'll do like next year, but then someone asked me, like, why wait like another year? You've been together for 7 years. So.
Yeah.
Like,
we should talk about what happened on our engagement. No, they don't know. Like, how
What?
you engaged.
How did you propose?
Did you propose?
oh, wait, you guys didn't know?
No, like,
Oh, yeah.
For the fam.
This is
For the
the
fam.
fam.
The people in the camera. Oompa Loompas in the camera. Okay. Yeah, how we got engaged. You're talking about, like, just like the day, right?
sure.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, I was getting into, like, videography, making these little cute clips and stuff, and I set out this date, and it was raining, and I was hoping it wasn't gonna rain, but that doesn't stop us. We've had many adventures. Just we like to travel a lot. So I was recording some clips in the car, like, oh, we should do like a cute little like cinematic rain, watch. We were at a air park, Gravelly Point, and he's like, oh, it's gonna be a cute little video, like, let's just do that. And so we like go to Gravelly Point. It's just us, and then one person and one Amish family. Like, an Amish family just came out the cut and just walked, right under the planes where we were planning to shoot the proposal. And then there was two people over in the far end, and Pauline was just like, oh, those guys are taking photos over there too. And I was like, oh, cool. Little did they know, little did she know, that's actually our friends Matt and Sierra. Matt was actually to take.
I had no idea.
He was there to take
I really
the
thought
photos.
we were just doing a photo.
She was just like, hey, those guys are taking photos
What
over
a
there too. And I was like,
coincidence.
yeah, who else is crazy enough to take photos in the rain under airplanes?
Yeah,
And so
I was so tired too.
yeah, and so I was like, okay, I don't know when the next one was gonna come, and so I set up a tripod on my phone because my camera was out and it was like soaked, but it's like it's weather resistant. So
Yeah.
I was like, I just put my phone out there. I was like, I don't care about my phone. So I was trying to record a little cutesy video, and then I tell Matt, like, come over here. And I gave her a album of all these Polaroids that just throughout the years. And then the last picture was it Now Until Forever? Question mark.
Amazing.
She was like, she thought it was like she thought I pulled out a journal, right? No, the beginning, right? You thought it was a journal. She was like, why am I journaling in the
Yeah,
rain?
we're like, are we gonna journal outside
Yeah,
in the rain?
This was I like literally took it out of my jacket, like like a, like
Magician.
that. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I see you playing. And I was like, okay. She was like going through it, and I literally was like, okay. So I skipped to the last.
Hurry up!
I skipped to the last, last page, and she was like, what? And so she dropped her umbrella, and I was like, I had like a whole
Drama type
speech in
beat.
my head, and I butchered it because I'm like, she's not gonna say no,
Yeah.
but you're still gonna mess up. And so I made like a whole 50 sentence, like 50 word made into like 10 words. I was like, will you
I
marry
don't
me?
remember any.
And I was like
Blackout.
shaking. I was like shaking, and so yeah. And then Matt was just there, and then she was like, "What the heck what are you guys doing here?" It's like, what do you think they're doing here? I'm just kidding. But yeah, we got
I said
engaged in
yes,
the rain.
by the way.
We got engaged in the rain, and
God.
no one's there except this one lady that passes by right when I get on my knees.
Oh
So
my
she's-
God.
She had the audacity to go, and she came back. She was like, "Oh my gosh, congratulations!" Like, you were in the shot. I didn't say that. But I was like, "You were in the
Canceled.
shot." I'm him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of this is
Who the hell's
happening.
jogging in the rain anyways? Like, it wasn't even like drizzle. It was like
No,
Like-
actually, who is?
we got soaked, and I was like,
It
I
was
thought I
a
was gonna get sick
storm.
because we went straight to Korean barbecue.
Oh my
but,
God.
like, we were drenched.
yeah.
That's crazy.
And
But
she- yeah.
everything happened so quickly. But I do remember, like, my brain stopped working for a second. Because
Yeah.
it, like, when he asked it, because we had conversations prior, but for it to happen, like, that soon, I was
Yeah.
like, so, yeah, it just, my life literally flashed before me
Oh my God.
when he popped the question.
Yeah.
And the point where he was like, hello? I was like, oh, yeah,
Are you still there?
of course.
She's
Yeah.
gonna say no. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so
Take an
cute.
Uber back home. It's like, no.
Oh my gosh, that's so romantic. That reminds me of, in The Office when Jim and Pam
Yeah.
get engaged.
I forgot
The rain.
In the rain.
In the rain.
So
Oh my gosh, yeah.
romantic.
And then, like,
you
the
dropping your umbrella.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. It was good. Matt did a great job.
Okay, so I know, Pauline, you asked Gil why he decided to commit to you. Let's turn that around and ask, why did
How you like it
Pauline
now?
commit to Gil? What made you say yes?
Oh my god.
And did you have any doubts, concerns, red flags?
With marrying him, no. Like, I had no doubts at all as to who I was going to marry. I was pretty set on, like, yeah, I'm totally going to marry this dude. It was more so, like, outside things. Like, because marriage is a big commitment. And it's so much more than just coming home to your person. Like, there's things around you that are constantly, trying to catch your attention or trying to distract you. And so I had a lot of things. I had so much responsibilities, as anyone does prior to getting married. And so those are the things you do have to consider. And I think it was in a time where I was still, like, in the midst of, like, I felt like, what's the word? Like, I was not staggering, but I was, like, back and forth, like, in and out, not with him specifically, but just, like, with the idea, because you start to second guess yourself, like, am I ready? Like, what will people think? And just so many things that don't really matter.
Yeah.
So when he popped the question, like, all of those things, like, kind of, like, all those voices were there for a second and then stopped. As if, like, yeah, those things will always be around. Like, family will always give opinions, but at the end of the day, it's just you and him. And that gave me some assurance. And I definitely felt like God has given me so much assurance to things are going to be turn out really well after this. So just to trust him. And so Yeah, with Gil, if you wanted specifics, since he, yeah, Gil just definitely knows how to make me smile and laugh, especially if I want to humble him and be like, no, that's not funny. Like he's probably one of the funniest people I know, but also he's just really reliable and respectful, and he's opened my eyes to a lot. I feel like I'm more open-minded because of him, and so yeah, I knew he'd be a great person to grow and do life with. So yeah.
So cute. Are we blushing over there?
Yes, I'm also hot.
Falling
but
asleep.
Yeah.
So cute. Adorable. I love that.
Okay, go.
Alrighty. So you talked a little bit about having voices and opinions that might be a little bit different during the engagement. So can you walk us through how your engagement season was?
Yes. So this was an interesting time, probably one of the darkest yet blessed times. He did have a conversation with my mom, and so of course, like, it's involving, everyone in your life, and so there was just some disagreements prior to that kind of made the, I guess, decision for him a little bit tricky, but he still followed through with it. And yeah, I knew prior to what we were getting into, and I knew that it would really change the dynamics of our family and really might hurt people. Well, not intentionally hurting people, but it's just a new change within my family and his family as well. And so, but at the end of the day, we truly believed and knew what God wanted for us. And sometimes those things, like, you wouldn't need to explain to others, and just trust him in that process. Yeah. And so that's what we did, and we knew it'd be tricky, but we're grateful that we pushed through it, because we could have like second guessed ourselves and just not trusted what God wanted for us. And
I kind of was still getting used to discerning, like, if it's God's voice or it's like just if it's the enemy's voice, or just even my own, because even your own voice could hurt you and pull you away from what God has for you, Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of questions. I mean, Filipinos are going to say their own thing about it,
Yeah.
It's just like a bunch of disagreements culturally, just with timing,
there's a lot of culturally stuff.
Certain things, but I think if anyone knew us better, it would just be us and God, really.
Yeah, and I think to add on top of, like, anytime from anyone, anytime the question, like, for example, the main one would be like, oh, are you guys ready for this? I'm like, when are you ever ready? Mm-hmm. Like, were you ready for this? And not to point at you, but just in my head, I was like, man, you weren't ready.
So it just really puts you in the spot of like, well, what do we want in life? What actually brings us joy? Yeah. Who are the people that are in our life? And how have we been living our life? Have we been living our life solely just for our parents, or can we confidently say that this is the life that God also gave us, where He wants us to be individuals as well? And so it is that switch of relationship and views on everything, and so really taking ownership of
and really learning from your mistakes. That's simple. It's just like I know most of these questions are coming from like maybe good intentions, but also maybe just like judgment, as well. So it's like,
or like
we can never tell.
Of their past experiences, which happens all the time, and and think they do want the best for us and want to protect us, but I think one of the biggest realizations for both sides is that we're all adults now. Like, we're adults. And
that the lens, especially from just like the family and the parents, is like, that lens of like you're like, we're your children, but at the same time, like, we're also adults now. And then if they ever bring up like, well, you can't do this or like this and that, like, I was like, well, hey, guess what? I can name a list of things that I can say about you, but I forgot where this quote's from. But I love you for who you are and forgive you for who you aren't, and so that can work for both ways. And
I feel like that's in Ted Lasso, no? I think
it is Ted Lasso.
I think Higgins says that.
It is Ted Lasso. That's why it kept with me.
Yeah.
Because Higgins said that
about his dad.
And I was like,
perfect.
I'm keeping, and I told people that how did I forget that was Leslie?
You're like, this is in the Bible, right?
It might be a different version. They got us hip to Ted Lasso. Shout out to Ted Lasso.
Double
Shout out
I
to
like
Ted
soccer.
Lasso.
We like soccer because
Double
of them
date.
and Ted Lasso.
So good.
It is like that was like a heavy like
Yeah.
statement for me. I was like, wow.
And I think for something that they didn't really understand prior, but we really, really had a great weight on us, was that we were really doing this in honor of them. But it was just in a way that they didn't expect, or maybe they weren't ready for it. And so that is probably what kept us going and kept us being, really confident in our choices, because this is in honor of them. I feel like our relationship has led to a point where it's just prayers answered. The people in our life, it was just so affirming, and we were just getting into our new jobs and getting promotions, and so it just felt like, what else more are we waiting for? Like, we're so ready to live this life. And we both come from like really humble backgrounds, and so I think we just really saw it as a blessing that needed to be unlocked. And so yeah.
And you guys mentioned a lot about like having discernment and like wisdom throughout the entire engagement process to be able to get to the wedding day, right? I know the idea of cleaving from your parents is kind of hard for some people. Did you find that hard for you guys as well?
The question was it hard?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Leaving my family.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was hard. I mean, I love my family. I love my parents. Like I'm a mama's boy at heart, and so
Yes.
I cry for my mama.
Yeah.
And like it was just, I knew it was gonna be different, because I knew like there were definitely days where, like, man, like I took this for granted. I was just at my house earlier cleaning, and I was just staring in my room, just like, man, like I miss being here too. It's only been like 2 months, but it feels like it's already been just like I've literally been ripped out from physical household of my family, and there's it's like a good and bad feeling. Not bad as in like, but it's just like, man, it's bittersweet almost.
It's like a closing of a chapter.
Yeah,
it's hard.
very much is that. And if you live with someone, for example, your parents, like every day, you're just like, like
Take it for granted.
You take it for granted.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm not gonna think about like when I'm gonna leave until you start to think about leaving. But then when you do, it's just like, oh man, I just spent 7 years in this house, and it's been like almost the same on a daily basis. And so for me it was hard. It was a hard pill to swallow, but now I cherish meeting my parents and seeing my parents every time. And every time like I see my mom, like she always says, I miss you here. I was like, I miss you too. And it's a chapter closing for sure. But now it's like opening new chapters, like I can't wait to have kids so they can have grandkids, and like they want grandkids. Well, they didn't say that to me, they said it to my brother.
Shout out, George.
You feel me? It's like, no. But it's just like cherish every like moment now after. You can't go back.
Too late.
You're stuck.
No one's getting younger.
For me, our families are very different. And I experienced that heavily, like just thinking about it, especially during this holiday season, like how much our families are different, how they celebrate holidays and the dynamics and everything. It definitely was, it definitely did, I guess, tear a piece of me. I will be honest, though, I felt like I myself needed for this to happen, to leave my house. Not, to say anything bad. It's just like I knew God had so much in store, and I knew a lot of that would be unlocked through getting married, which was also a really weird, ironic like situation, because I was so independent, and so like why would I want to get away and get married, and but I think because I had been so independent, like in living with a single mom and being an older sister, I felt like I needed to learn more about me after, kind of fulfilling that role for so long. And it was a blessing. It's definitely contributed to who I am today. But I think inside of me, like, really wanted to learn more about who Pauline was outside of being a sister,
Yeah.
being a daughter.
Yeah.
You know, I never grew up with like role models like married. Like no one was really married in my families, and so I didn't have that, I guess, point of reference.
Yeah.
And so that's scary, but
course,
also really exciting to know that I'll be, you know, stepping into that, and we will make mistakes, and I can only learn from, you know, what I was seeing growing up. And so it kind of feels like playing house in a way, you know. And so yeah, I, of course, like when going through the holidays, I do miss my mom more, and try to reach out, and you just take things for granted now. So now I'm cooking more, and like I'm just like, wow, my mom, you know, she didn't show her love through words, but she did show it through action. And so I'm kind of like experiencing that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it like makes you even more grateful for everything that your parents did, because like
Yeah.
now you understand where it's coming from.
Yeah, and you know, growing up with them, you're like, you only really pay attention to the negative things, and like, why are you like this, blah
Yeah.
blah blah. And it's when you leave, you're like, oh, that's why you were like that. And you know, we were a pain in the butt to them, and so it just gives you a whole new perspective, and you respect them more.
Yeah.
On top of that, like adding to the part where like, you know, you leaving your house like is one way to like kind of solve or your situation is to move and get married. Like I don't know what she needed exactly, but I felt like marriage was something that will help us understand a lot of things that we think we need, and just to like, you know, like I think that was one of the motives for me to marry you, like ASAP.
Yeah.
Not like the motive to get you out, like, you know, like marry you and get out, but
run away. No.
yeah,
No, definitely, like after getting married, like we just, that's why things happen the way, and we're able to kind of rewrite, you know, the way we address problems and situations, and we grew up like that, so you know, how can we navigate using that as a point of reference? And so when I think about us getting married, I always think about when I first encountered God, and how that was not even that never came across, you know. I was young, like that would be, I'm not saying this is the epiphany, like this is the answer to all of my questions and like fulfillment, but it is a big, I guess, healing situation that happened to my personal life. And so that was a good blessing.
So good.
yeah. It was hard.
Yeah,
to answer.
Yeah.
Hard and just, I feel just hard closing the door and scared to see what's next.
Uncertainty.
Like how the heck are we here right now with this, you know, this stuff, this place? Like I didn't plan for that. I was just planning for the marriage, and I gave it all to God because I was like, no money, the heck?
Yeah.
No money, the
That's
heck?
so real.
I just spent it all on the honeymoon, the heck? So.
Speaking about the wedding, we're anxious to hear about the wedding day, but before we get there, obviously like the months before the wedding, that's some of the most stressful times coming into the wedding. And so we're just kind of curious to know like what the preparations were like, what the logistics were like, how you guys managed your mental health during that space, because it did seem like there was a bit of stress during this time, or friction at least. And so we'd love to hear you speak a little bit more about those months.
The best way like I can put this, there was a video, I think it was Zac Efron, it was like a meme. What? You sent it to me. So it was like, I think it was Zac Efron, and he was singing Cher, and the girl was driving, and it's like the caption was like, ladies in engagement season, she's doing everything, and guys only problem is finding his suit, and I'm just like chilling, and that's kind of like what it was. I was stressed out finding a damn suit. I'm like, yo,
he's like, what should I wear? I'm like, I don't know, whatever.
I can't find the right.
I have a million other things.
Like my problem was like I couldn't find the right hunter green color on Amazon for my ties, for my groomsmen. I looked on Amazon, I bought like things, like, oh my god, this is stressing me right now. I'm like, you know, she's over here like doing everything, like she did all the DIY stuff. You know,
it was beautiful.
So shout out to her. She did all the DIY stuff.
Shout out, Pauline.
Click the clap button, audience button, and it was cricket.
Yeah. I think, yeah, well, I did. Well, I decided to. I wanted to.
Yeah, she did want to.
Considering we did decide to do a backyard wedding, we were just so set on that. And a lot of people gave us like their opinions on like why it shouldn't be, but we knew for sure we wanted it in the backyard of some of our closest family friends.
We'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, and I think leading up to that, you know, of course we weren't the richest couple, but I just knew that God gave us gifts to like literally in everything. We just knew he had already had experience with weddings, and so he knew what was worth putting money into. And
as
so
in, I shoot weddings.
Blessing.
I got married. This is my first time.
Oh no, he doesn't.
At practice.
I film weddings. Let me not say shoot.
Yeah, but I feel like we
weddings.
just had gathered so much wisdom also with the couples that were with us, and also like dealing with family stuff. I think, you know, the normal stressful things, we were really gracious to have the best people around us during that time. But yeah, I DIY'd because honestly, like I did take a step away from my home to kind of like really focus my attention towards, you know, the wedding. And I felt like it was therapeutic for me. Like I had been wanting to be creative. And so that was kind of like an outlet for me. And also me doing all my decor gave me time to really process what was going on. And I have the tendency to like move my like environment is such a important thing to me, and so I needed to kind of have control. Like there's so many things outside of our control, but at least I can like arrange the flowers to look this way. So I think it was like my way of coping, you know, all of the changes in a positive way. So it really turned out really well.
Yeah, but you know, I just remembered you weren't even living at your place.
Yeah, no, I was
That was a whole
living
thing.
actually at the home where our venue was, and so
Stuff
I think
happened
that was
and-
definitely a plus.
Yeah.
And it was unfortunate, but I think it was needed for my family to kind of have that space, you know, and then come back eventually later, you know, having the tough conversations. But
There was a lot of tough conversations. I mean, we had people, we had facilitators.
yeah,
We've had a lot of yelling,
a lot of yelling, a lot of
A lot of crying.
making
a lot of
amends.
crying. And
You
you know,
know.
we could have avoided these. We could have like just ran away and eloped. We actually considered eloping, but we really felt like this is an important time. Like we had to go through that to kind of break through like the uncomfortable conversations that our families would never want to have. Like we had to take the initiative in starting that. Otherwise no one would, you know, and this is not just for us. It could be for the next person or for our siblings or whatever. And so, that was, but we got through it, thankfully.
If you have any viewers that are also kind of struggling with either like worried about getting married because of maybe like family concerns, or maybe they're in their engagement season right now with troubles, you know, with their family, what advice would you give them?
I would advise really being with yourself and really asking yourself, like, what do you want out of this life? To kind of like limit the distractions, to take them into consideration, of course, all the wisdom from other people, the advice, things that you've learned, but really to take the time to ask yourself and God, where are you going with this? And I had to surrender a lot for me to really get that answer, because we can have our own ideas of how we want our life, but all I wanted was just to, for literally, didn't even want to touch it. I was just like, I can't do anything. All I could do is just to leave it at your feet, because it's just so stressful for me to take control by myself. But I would say, take the time to think about and write, like, you know, to journal. I talked to my younger self a lot through that season. And then I also, you know, thankfully got the support that I needed. So we were with, you know, marriage counseling, and then we also talked to some other couples. And I think that's what it would be. To reflect and then to have a strong community around you.
Yeah. And I say, I guess, for like, let me put it like in a secular perspective too. It's going to be just you guys at the end of the day. I can't stress enough how many people said, said this one thing, you know, their opinions, but then a whole bunch of other people would say like, do whatever you want. Right? Like you're the only ones getting married, not your family. Yeah. You're marrying into the family, but your families are getting married. You're not marrying the audience, the congregation, whatever. It's just you. And I think you have to muster up the confidence to be like, this is exactly what I want for my wedding. And because I shoot weddings with my brother, and I've also heard weddings and seen weddings where it's just like, oh, I didn't want that, or like, oh, like their parents were taking over, or like, it's just other, like, why? Like, our wedding was exactly how we wanted it, with no other, like, little to none other, you know,
I was not
opinions.
Stressed.
Yeah.
Honestly,
So
the day
good.
of.
Yeah.
People are saying you can't take control of anything. I'm like, yeah, of course. But no, actually, like, I want to relive it again because it happened so quick. Probably everyone. Well, and we were just, the things that I do remember is just seeing everyone so hands-on. And I knew that was what's the word? Like, it was cultivated through the years that we've spent together as a couple, and then individually too. Like, seeing everyone in front of us was just a true testament that everything that we've gone through and who we went through it with, it didn't go to vain. And so it was really amazing to see. So I can't imagine if we took the wrong decisions based off of people pleasing or you know, being uncomfortable, you know, or for the sake of comfort. Like, I can't imagine. We were so at peace that day, and I think that's the best thing you can ask for. And they were right. Like, it's not gonna matter, like, if something didn't make it on the table or this food didn't come out. Like, it did not matter.
Like,
it didn't matter.
even like shout out to Matt Combs. He did video, but we had Super 8 film because I wanted it, and there was like miscommunication on the film, so he didn't record us actually kissing, but he recorded it on his phone. I literally saw it. I wasn't even stressed out. I was like, dude, I don't care. Like, it was, like, I had a camera in the back and I didn't even care. It actually like didn't record that too, but it's like, what can you do? Like, I was like, I can choose to be happy right now or be upset that the freaking camera didn't record my kiss. Like, I didn't live in the moment. Like, you have to choose this stuff. So
I really don't remember the things happening outside of us. It was not until people sent us pictures and videos where, like, they were really emotional and, you know, reacting. But I only really focused on Gil because...
All right, so we've already started talking about it a little bit. So tell us your favorite moment of the wedding day. It seems like you both had an awesome wedding day, so we'd love to hear more about that. Was there anything in particular that stood out? I, like, personally, because we coordinated it, there's one thing that stood out to me.
Yes, you guys did coordinate it.
What was it?
Oh, do you guys remember the weather that week?
Oh, yeah, that was... I was going to mention...
Okay, because it was raining like 4 or 5 days straight, and then it was going to keep raining that week, but all of a sudden, like, on that Saturday, the sun came out for the whole day, and it didn't rain. And then it rained the next day after, actually. So
there's evidence. Let me expand on that. It was during the hurricane. Like, we weren't hit, but, like, you know, East Coast type. And the days before and days after were rainy, foggy, all that jazz. And this is what I did. I'm not going to take no credit for it.
Okay.
Because I'm going to give it to God, you feel me?
Shout out to God.
Like,
Shout out to God.
Yeshua type.
My man.
You know? Jesus Christ. No, but, like, on the real, like, I was stressed.
We were both stressed.
Stressed with that. Financially, like, we were gonna rent a tent, which for a
And
day
those
was
are probably the most
$1,000,
expensive.
Yikes.
1,000 buku bucks, right? And we had to know like 2 days prior to let the rental company know. And I was like, babe, we can't do that because we got no money. Straight up, we had no money for that. We have no funds for that. I was not expecting to be.
We had money, but we didn't.
We had
want
money,
to use it on.
but I didn't try to use it on no
for
dang
a
10
freaking day.
Not even a day, like 4 or 5 hours. But the whole point was like, I was like, okay, that added a lot of stress. On top of like, oh my gosh, the weather app kept changing. My friends kept texting me.
Yeah, we
I
were
had
checking
like
it
10
too.
people saying like, your wedding's gonna be on Saturday. It's gonna be raining, and I'm like,
Don't tell
you don't think I know that? You don't think I know? And so,
Oh my God.
and
Jeez.
And like legit, I mean, I didn't know what to say. Like clearly I know that. What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Oh, nah. The weather app said last week it was going to be snowing, sunny. And then it just kept changing. So that, you know, that was on top. And so on Thursday during work, right, I was like, it just hit me. During work, I got the most, like, I don't get anxiety attacks, but like I was having an anxiety attack because I was like, I started to breathe heavily, and I was freaking out. I think I was freaking out because we said no to the rental people.
Yeah, we had to.
And it did say it was like sunny, or it wasn't going to rain. Rather, it was cloudy. And so I took a walk outside of my work, and I started to panic, and then I literally like thought about Pat Cook. So Pat Cook and shout out to boy Pat.
Shout out to Pat.
Ohana type beat.
The odds of him listening.
I'm gonna shout it out. I'm gonna send it to him just this point.
We'll click.
No, I mean like I met Pat, one of the pastors at Monument, and I remember his story with his wife because it was like one of the first young adults that I went to like 2 years ago, I guess, something like that. And they told me about his story and like how I'm gonna butcher it, but like something about after marriage, you know, they had like, and this is not to be mean, like verbatim, like they had nothing, right? Like they were like, I don't know, spent all the money on honeymoon, and then like they had rent or something like that, and they had a lot of. Their story was just, it stuck with me, right? And I thought about that, and I just had the urge to call him. It's like, hey Pat, I'm stressing the heck out right now. I'm like heavily breathing. One, because I was also walking up hills, so I was also out of breath. And he was like, you know, Gil, actually, you were on my mind this morning, and you know, God put you on my mind this morning. I was like, great. Now in my head, I'm like, tell me what I need right now. And I was like, yeah, I would love your just any advice and wisdom you have right now, because I'm going through it. And I was telling him like your story just came up to my mind, and I felt like God was telling me to contact you because I needed freaking help. And I was crying because he gave the best wisdom, as he usually does. Yeah. And he was saying like, don't worry, like God is telling me to tell you that I hear you, you know, because you know it's like all the anxieties and fear, like they're just voices in your head, and you're just like, oh my God, why is God hearing me? You know, that's one of the questions that come into your head. And that just for Pat to kind of affirm that, I started to cry. So I was praying to God like, Lord, like please, I don't ask for much, but please, like I know you control the storms.
Wow.
So please control the storm on Saturday for this wedding. I don't deserve it. You know, like we don't deserve this. But I was like, I just kept saying that, you know, and then I told Pat, and then he was like, yeah, God hears you. I hear you. So I was crying, and then I was like, okay. I was like, you know, and little as you know, like he just, you know, I think he did a quick prayer, and then I legit just felt like my shoulders were just like the heaviness was just you know, lifted off. And Friday comes around, I actually fasted, and I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell Pauline because I was like, okay, I'm gonna fast, you know, and just for the day, just so I can like, you know, calm down. I didn't tell anybody I fasted until Saturday, until the wedding happened, because I fasted for this.
Wow.
So
Wait, so you were hungry at the rehearsal?
Yes, I didn't.
Dang.
Was that Thursday? That was Thursday, wasn't it?
Friday.
Then I might have fasted Thursday when I called Pat, because that's also probably why I was
probably
also
overeating.
Anxious. No. You're right. No.
Understandable.
No. I fasted Thursday. That's why that also was like made me anxious because I was like, I'm freaking hungry. So that's not Friday. I forgot the Friday rehearsal. I woke up Saturday morning, and it's freaking sunny. The sunniest, like hot sunny, like right when it was like rainy, windy and stuff. Like it was sunny, and I just started crying. Like when everyone, I got up to Alicia's room because everyone was like, or I guess Abby's room. Everyone was setting up, and I was just like looking at it. And then I like go outside. I look at the sky, and I'm like, and I was just like, thank you. Like,
Wow.
you can't like. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Like, just to put everything at his feet, and then clearly he does what he says he's gonna do.
Yeah.
And when you put your trust in him,
Mm-hmm.
and just lay the anxieties at his feet.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah, dude.
this is the most beautiful day
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that he could have calmed the storms in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because legit, the next day was foggy and piking ice.
Yeah.
It started raining
It was
again.
crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh my God, like it was such a perfect day. I was like,
It was so
I-
perfect that people were going under the shade because
people
it
were
was
so
complaining.
hot.
It was that
People were
sun.
complaining it was
The
hot. And I'm
bees
like,
were out.
you want this?
The bees were
Oh,
out
Rain was melting.
They were out there just for one day too. So like,
in fall.
no, literally. And so like, that was like, yeah, I was just in awe, and I was
Yeah.
like crying by myself,
Yeah.
ugly crying by myself.
Yeah, that's what I felt like on our way to the first look, where we went to the lake, and it was
Yes,
actually a last minute decision.
Yeah.
Because the place I wanted was too muddy, but I just felt the sun on me even deeper
Wow.
that time.
Yeah.
Like the sun.
The first
in
look photos
those
were way better.
photos
Mm.
Were just
could- yeah.
perfect, and it was actually right like as he was about to turn. Like it looked like the sky was clearing like right on us because it was just like drizzling a little bit on our way there.
Right.
But
Right.
as soon as I started walking down to pat on his shoulder, to look around or to turn around, like it was perfect. Like
Wow.
it got so bright that you could see like the what's it called, the mist, like
The
just
mist,
rise up,
yeah.
which made it even
There's probably
more
a Swedish word
cinematic.
for that or something.
Yeah.
But-
Japanese word.
Yeah, but we will always we're just so blessed that we're able to share that story with other people when they ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, it just, like even a person who doesn't believe is like, yeah, I'm not like, I know why.
Like people on our
you know?
Instagram were like,
Like,
not
wow,
at
it's
the
such a
wedding, but
sunny
we're like,
day.
hey,
Yeah.
like I just saw what happened. Like the weather just switched. I'm
Yeah.
so glad that worked out for you guys.
And they were like, I can't believe it. I was like, well, like I can because
Yeah.
it was literally God.
Right.
You know,
Amen.
there's no
Wow.
other explanation.
Yeah.
If you're gonna tell me that the days before it was raining, sunny, rainy and foggy, and then the next days when it was a hurricane season, how you gonna
Yeah.
have a sun come out in a hurricane?
Yeah.
So he controlled the storms because I was like, please control the storm,
Wow.
like please.
Yeah.
On my bended knee, boys to men type beat. What you know about that?
Anyways, but my favorite part was when my mom and I had our dance together.
Yes.
And
That
I
was so
didn't really
sweet.
see like the impact of how it would be towards the audience because I was really just in the moment. It was not until I saw the videos of like, oh wow.
Yeah.
But one, I thought it was, I put on her song, her favorite song. I didn't tell her about it, but it was The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston. And that's kind of like her life song, talking about like the most important love that you have is like within yourself. And, no matter what anyone says, and just to keep pushing on. And so that's kind of like her life song. So I put that on and then, we embraced each other and
Waterworks.
waterworks. And it just felt like she explained it the best. She said, oh, we weren't talking, but our hearts were. And I really felt that. And I didn't know until after I saw the video that she put a thumbs up. And that was so, it released so much in me because it was, all you ever want is your mom's approval. And so I felt like in that moment, she like fully like surrendered everything, every worry that she had of me. And like it truly looked like, okay, God, like I did the best I could. And look how everything turned out, and it turned out really well, and now I'm really ready to release my daughter.
Wow.
She's probably one of the last people to release me. But it was
She is
such
last-
a
she is
beautiful
last
moment.
person.
And so those are the things that we were talking about. Like I didn't know this would happen, but I didn't know a marriage would be the thing that completely healed me. But it really did, like putting me in that situation for me and my mom. And so I think after that we've gotten closer in different ways because of that. So that's probably my favorite part.
Yeah, my third favorite part was dancing with my mama. We played Phil Collins.
Oh my God, that was so
Tarzan
cute.
song, right?
Tarzan song.
Yeah.
My heart.
Yeah, and I was like, she like,
Mama.
I was like, man, every time I try to be like cute with her, she's like, okay. but like deep down, she's like,
Yeah.
it's not like she's just saying that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I
But
feel like my favorite part, I have two things. The cake that your dad
Shout out to
made.
my dad.
Shout out to your dad.
It's so unfortunate that the weather was so nice that it melted, but
I'd
it was
rather
so
have that.
good. Even the bees got to it first.
The
Yeah.
bees gotta
Yeah.
It was
touch
really
of it.
good.
Yeah, shout out to
Celebrating.
my dad. He also made like the sculpture of us that he still
sculpture.
uses for other weddings.
Sculpture
Yeah,
as
he
well.
still has the
Sculpture.
chocolate,
Still has
white
it.
chocolate
Yeah.
statue,
Statue,
sculpture
yeah,
of
sculpture.
Gil and I
Yeah.
And strawberry
in the living
dipped-
room right
dipped
now.
chocolate-
It's still
It's
there.
still there.
Yeah,
I was
chocolate
like,
dipped
you're gonna
strawberries
have
as well.
some pest
yeah.
friends
Yeah.
if you keep it, but
Yeah.
That sculpture was incredible. It literally was like a painting. Well, I mean,
Flash
that's
a
what
picture
sculpture
on
is,
the
I guess.
screen.
Yeah.
My
yeah.
face was messed up. Like in the
oh
sculpture.
yeah, it definitely did not look like us.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But
We
But
get
it was,
it.
it was
The intention
crazy.
was there.
Yeah, the intention was there.
yeah, they worked so hard.
Yeah.
but
And then also seeing you guys worship together, we were like on the sidelines, like I don't know what we were
That
doing.
was probably
right?
our
I was
worst
under a
performance
tree, I think.
together, though.
our
But,
first and worst, first in a long time, worst.
and like we
Forever.
did not.
But it was so cute because you were both crying and
Yeah.
everyone is crying. There was like
People
not
were
a
destroyed.
dry
Yeah.
I didn't look. I didn't even
I
look
couldn't
up.
look because I
Yeah.
was too
Like-
embarrassed.
And then a freaking bee was in my ear. Like it's like there's a bee in my ear in the middle.
But
I
our good
remember
friend
that.
Eric, he pointed actually that moment of how that kind of shows a real snippet of our relationship.
Yeah.
It's like a bee can get in our ear, but like
Yeah.
we're literally laughing it out, and
Yeah.
we're not embarrassed, we're not
Yeah.
tripping. Like we're just a chill guy,
Yeah.
a chill girl.
Insert. It's like no.
So funny.
That was it was awesome to hear that you guys enjoyed the wedding day so much, and we enjoyed it too. Coordinating for you
Thank
both,
you
and
guys.
so
You guys,
Thank
helped.
you.
You guys
Y'all
coordinated.
killed it.
Y'all
Literally.
coordinated.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
shout out
just
the
take a
caterers
moment, guys.
and the food.
Yeah,
These friends, we just met them, and we're like, these people seem like they have everything like handled. Like they seem.
Dude,
It's a
yeah.
facade.
fake it till you
I was
make
like,
it.
would you be down to coordinate? Because we weren't planning to have a big thing anyway,
Yeah.
so if you just like. A
But
few
you guys
things,
honestly killed
but
it.
y'all killed it.
You guys took
you.
lead. You guys weren't
Seamlessly.
afraid to
with grace.
coordinate with the people you barely know, besides the
Yeah.
people at church, and you guys did a great job.
Thank
I want
you,
to
thank
honor you in
you.
that, and yeah, thank you guys.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, we're
It's
so
just
glad
fun.
it went smoothly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the highlight of after wedding days is always the honeymoon. So,
Honeymoon.
how was the honeymoon? What'd you guys end up doing?
Man, what did we do?
What did you end up
Keep
doing?
it, keep
Wait,
it,
not
keep
do.
it.
Just
You know?
What did you end up doing?
Whoa!
Oh, I guess we can say that now.
Yeah, it's legal. You guys are married.
It's
Yeah.
legal.
Me too.
For our honeymoon, we went to Colorado.
You feel me?
We had a bunch of other places in mind, but I think, well, I actually let Gil take charge of this because I had taken charge of the entire wedding. So that's the least he could do.
I'm hip.
But I knew
My
that
suit
would be
and
the
honeymoon.
most for him, but whatever.
Suit and honeymoon.
Yeah, so we chose Colorado. Actually, he chose Colorado, one, because we had a great plus. He didn't have PTO.
I didn't have enough.
But thank
PTO.
goodness, his job actually had a site in Colorado.
Office.
Yeah. And so they, had offered to.
No, I asked him if
Oh.
I was like, can I work there for a week and be there for 2 weeks, basically? And she had technically 2 weeks of honeymoon, and I had like 1.5 and some change.
Yeah.
But like the first week was all just us, and then the second week I worked, and she was
Yeah.
just chilling.
But it was awesome. We road tripped. We basically traveled like 3 hours a day to different Airbnbs. We came at the most perfect timing where the weather was like amazing. The
goodness.
foliage,
Yeah.
like I've never seen so many yellow trees, and like
Yellow, red,
the
and
mountains were mountaining. Like they, no matter where you look, there was something beautiful to see. And we just had like worship music and the car that we had, and we were just basking it in. And everyone was so nice there, and we got to be able to, get closer and just reflect. And it was a beautiful time together.
Yeah, I mean, even my work week there was great because just getting to know the other people at the office, and the hotel was like 5 minutes from. I was like,
Oh,
we're
Yeah,
chilling.
everything worked out. Like the
Yeah.
food and
Yeah.
everything was like basically covered for. And so we were really happy about that.
Yeah, there were some problems though. Like, not okay. That was a huge problem, but at the same time, there was a mutual problem of like taking you to the.
Oh yeah, so I
doctor
did.
and-
Yeah, I had like some health scares, and I think it was because
Not
of
pregnant
the
scares.
weeks like prior, like the wedding stress, like
stress.
my hormones were just imbalanced, and so it was a lot going on. But I think if that had not happened, Gil and I wouldn't have had like the deep conversations, because it's like, yes, you're in the honeymoon phase and it's all sweet, but you married now, like you're gonna have to hash things out together because you're stuck together. But it was just like we had that first, I guess, argument being married, but the argument definitely turned into a blessing and helped us. It was like the marker of like, all right, this is how we're going to work together and work as a team, and there's no more petty stuff. Like, we're not dating anymore. We're really in a team and we're doing life together, and we're one. Like, we really felt like we were one.
Okay, here you go.
3, 2, 1.
All right.
Action.
So, are you guys comfortable talking and sharing a little bit more about your little disagreement during your honeymoon?
Man, it was just
Hold
like.
on, let's think first how we should share.
I mean, I got it.
I don't know. Okay.
I'm not going to get into details.
Okay.
You know, one of the main things was. I'm not going to get into details.
Okay.
We can cut it.
But if I do, by accident. Okay, so
I
one of our
actually don't
biggest, like, one of the biggest arguments that we had there was comments were made, opinions were shared. It ended up being like a couple hours of not talking because of that, and.
Oh, yes. So it was more. Can I say?
Go ahead.
She's ready now.
I'll take
She's
some
taking
ownership.
it.
I will take accountability. So I commented something that was kind of mean towards him that I knew that would. No, at the time I was just projecting. Basically, I think it was just amped up. Stress that I had previously that I had not properly. Or like I wasn't straightforward in sharing what I was experiencing, because like, again, I'm coming from a place where I was independent for most of my life, and so what I would think of helping him, like I would think that not sharing like what I would consider small to him, I didn't want to do that on our honeymoon, and so I think that is where I went wrong. Because I forgot that I am with someone that I can solely trust. No matter what he thinks, he's still gonna love me, and
He better.
Yeah, right. But I had said something because I was just frustrated and said it, like, projected.
No.
And it hurt him, and I didn't say sorry for an entire day. Like, we basically went about our day. And we had a lot of faking.
We were with people.
Yeah,
and, like, we don't even know.
There were so many
Yeah.
people. We're socializing.
Someone was like, "Oh my gosh,
when
like,
did
take
you
some
guys
photos."
Get married?
And we were like, "I want to beat your ass right now." No, I'm just kidding. Not really. But like, there was a couple. Not actually.
Yeah, but it was not until the end where Gil's always really good at this, but he'll be like, all right, we got to talk about it now. And I could still be in processing mode. Like, I process slowly because I don't want to say the wrong things. And I want to, make sure that I'm speaking from my heart. But sometimes that can, like, just be, you can't hold on to it too long. And so, we kind of basically said, I opened up to what was bothering me, and he wouldn't have known because I didn't tell him. And so
you never know.
And so it took me a long time to say sorry, but I cried at the end, not because like I felt guilty, like it was that part that, man, like I did again where I wasn't the first one to say sorry, and I was kind of like beating around the bush, but I was actually crying tears of joy at the end because I'm like, wow, I feel so secure now.
Wow.
Because you're sometimes any glimpses of hope growing up of like someone I feel secure with or safe with or someone I can fully trust, I'd already be like, but now like I just truly feel secure in our relationship. Even if we make mistakes, it was a needed moment. It was like the marker of like, this is the rest of your life. In a good way.
Yeah.
yeah, you can't go home anymore because I'm your home type thing. Yeah. I mean, I got food. She didn't want to come with me to get the food. And then the freaking elevator was, first of all, the elevators at both places we stayed at were broken. So we had to like walk with everything.
So he's carrying food.
So I got
already
food.
Angry at me.
Oh no!
She's telling the story.
And then he forgot the utensil, so he had to go all the way down.
No, but I was pissed. I was so pissed.
And then I said, "I'll eat later."
That's wild.
That would be my
And then
13 reason, dude.
I just ate. I had my
didn't know that
Hawaiian
happened,
food.
but
I just ate and I took a shower. She's literally playing her Switch in her bed,
coping.
in the bed. And then I was in the shower for I was in the shower for like 30 minutes. I sized it, maybe like 25 minutes, maybe like 29 minutes. And and I was just like, looking up the sky with the rain falling on your
Oh my god, so dramatic.
Vegeta,
Vegeta.
But I was just like, man, I don't want to get out of the shower and just not talk to her. So I just asked, I was like, God, how can I lead her right now?
Wow.
And the first step to lead is to be humble and literally lower yourself.
Wow.
And it was weird because I was like, okay, turn around in my chair. It's like, we have to talk because we can't sleep like this.
I'm like,
And I don't
what?
even know.
Leave me alone.
And I was like, I'm not gonna let this
Slide.
slide. Even if you said no, like it was like, I don't want to talk about it. I'll be like, no.
And too
I'm
bad.
not giving you the chance to, because it's like, I'm not gonna. If you say no, if I just say, oh, fine, okay, that's not leading you. That's just accepting. That's just accepting whatever. Like, you're leading me. Hell no. No, but it's like I gotta learn how to lead. So like, I legit was just like, guys, just let me just talk to her. Like, legit, you have to lower yourself. What's it say? Lower yourself.
Prefer her
Decrease to
over
increase
yourself.
type thing.
Yeah.
Or was it
You must decrease so I can increase.
Yeah. And just giving it back to him. So
Yeah. And knowing that, like him sharing that afterwards and why he felt compelled to initiate was really assuring for me. I'm like, oh, that is the guy who's going to lead me.
Wow.
In the times that I feel weak or like I feel like I can't do it or I just have so much trauma that I never learned how to do that, he stepped into that. And so usually, like, growing up, I had to initiate doing those things. But when it comes to myself, like, it's hard for me to do that. And so, it was really cool. So it definitely put me in a vulnerable space to allow someone to take care of me.
What?
Sorry.
Now you can be princess now.
And I'll say,
princess.
I'm dead. And I also say, like, if there's any, like, this is for people, like, if you're, your partner, if your wife especially says like, oh no, it's okay, nah,
It's
like
not
don't
okay.
ignore it. Like I was like, if you do you want to go to the emergency, she's like, no, like I think I'll be, no, don't even take that chance.
Yeah.
Don't ever take that small chance.
Yep.
There's
exactly.
like famous last words. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's so good. I'm so proud of you guys. Wow.
Thank you.
I feel like your honeymoon really like confirmed like your decision and like your marriage, that like it really was one God ordained, and two that you guys are the right people for each other.
yeah, and I just heard like no honeymoon can go great without fights.
Yeah, it's true.
Like if your honeymoon was great,
Did you guys really talk?
did you
you
even,
know?
Really?
did you even
Yeah.
like get to the point of like, I don't like just the smallest things.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fact.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. So after you got back from the honeymoon, you basically moved into this place
Straight
that we're
here.
in now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Gorgeous.
how's living together been? How's that adjustment been?
And do you guys hate each
Having
other
another
yet?
person in your space,
No.
in your business.
She probably hates me farting all the time.
That's
She
I
just
definitely
keeps
got-
looking at me, and I'm
No, I
like,
just didn't know he could fart so much. But I
my
knew he
stomach
did,
messed
but-
up. Yeah.
No,
I-
it's been a great blessing. I mean, this place that we have, even though it's like, a temporary home for now, it's like it was
Home's home.
perfect for us. And so quiet and one of our biggest goals is to be able to host our closest friends, and so that's the biggest blessing out of this. But Gil has his studio, and I'm able to curate a home because I moved so much that I felt like I always had to adapt to change, and now we're actually cultivating a place together, in new beginnings. And at first, I'm not gonna lie, like it was pretty stressful because when you're coming into a new space that's like completely empty, you already want to fill it in.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, one, that's like so expensive. Like a pillow is like $12.
Right.
What?
Ew.
You have to fill it in together. Like it's like it's a collaborative effort.
Yeah,
not just
but
like,
the collaborative
like I told
effort.
her stuff. I was like, I don't like that.
And putting things together, when I was arranging things, I'm like, I got to see parts of his life before me, like his old books and journals. I get to see my books and journals, and combining them and putting on the same bookshelf is just like was really cool. And like just our aesthetic is just so cohesive, and it just really affirmed like, oh, like we're really good together aesthetic wise too. So the home came out, I think
It's
really
gorgeous.
good.
Yeah.
I left most of the aesthetics to her.
Thank you.
Most of it.
Yeah.
The only thing I can do is my studio. So
Yeah, I again like environment is so important to me, and I just wanted a safe place that I've always wanted, you know, growing up.
yeah,
And, so,
and then shout out to everyone who blessed us with just donating things,
yeah.
and you guys especially.
Thank you, Register.
Well, when we got home, let me bring it back.
Oh yes.
When we got home,
oh my god.
these guys infiltrated our house.
Just her.
In a great
Breaking
way.
in
Oh yeah, sorry,
sneakily.
just her. And she had the heart and posture of like, you know, well, them collaboratively had the heart and posture to be like, yo, it's hard. You know, usually when newcomers, the heck, we church,
Newlyweds.
Newcomers into marriage.
newcomers into marriage. You know, like it's not having anything. So like, she literally like, it was like a hotel where the fridge was filled with like, you know, everything set here, and then like.
Utensils,
Everything they let us borrow. We still actually are borrowing some stuff. Sorry,
we
guys.
had blankets coming in.
Yeah, so like they set up everything.
We had toiletries, and you know, like prior to this, we're like, oh, like it shouldn't be hard.
Yeah.
And we used everything.
Yeah, she basically set us. She set us. They set us up for like success in the very beginning, and she
really
picked us up
appreciate it.
at 11 p.m.
Yeah, and had
While
snacks,
Ben was sick.
like an Uber. Like
She had
coming to
snacks.
the-
She's
It
like
was
a
so
So shout out to them, but like everyone who also like just put in their time and donated stuff. Like we have a freaking behind this camera. We have a TV that we could have never imagined. 64 inch
Free.
for free buku bucks. Shout out to my boy Josh.
Yeah.
But just, so many things were just donated, and I'm just like, what? We don't need like, you know. I mean, we kind of need it, but we're not asking for anything.
Yeah. So,
So-
yeah, God really had us in the
Yeah.
palm of
Yeah.
his hand right when we came home.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And I feel like that also reflects like how much you guys have invested into other people as well, and like the community that you're in, where like giving to you guys is kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah. It's so hard to.
We love you so much.
I'm like, I have to give back. I have to. But, you know,
And
yeah,
definitely
we're
with
so
the
blessed.
like, you know, not receiving anything, you know, I mean, our church has a bunch of givers, and like there's a lot of people who I look up to with that, you know, kind of character of them. And like, I mean, this was given by someone who gave. Wait, how do I word this? This was given to us because they were gifted it as well. So it was kind of like a passed down kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm probably
That's
gonna do that
been-
too.
Yeah, that's
You
been
know?
like the beautiful thing we've been experiencing with these other couples, like them passing down, like paying forward, you know.
Yeah.
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 And it empowers us to pay forward, whoever that is,
Yeah.
Love
next
that.
time. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
All right. So pet peeves about each other. I know you
Oh.
mentioned farting. What else?
Yeah. Me, not her. Oh my gosh! I mean, the first one comes into mind. She always leaves the lights on, and I'm like, Pauline, are you done here? Are you done in the studio? She's like, yes. Not even like recognizing
And then I
like,
go back.
and then I'm like,
leave it
the
on
light's
again.
still on. She's like, sorry, and I'm like, I'm not even. I was not like this at home.
First of
but
all, the utilities are free.
utilities are free, but nothing's free in this world. And at the same time, like I'm not like this even at my old house with my parents. I'm just like, if you're not there, just turn off the lights. We don't need everything on.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just my pet peeve. I'm not even like, and I'm not this bad. Might be a bad thing, but environmentally conscious when it comes to using all the lights on. Even though we have like 10 lights on right now. It's our first,
ever,
you know.
like-
But it's just that's one pet peeve.
Yeah.
My pet peeve is clothes on the ground, socks
Oh,
on the
yeah.
ground.
Guilty as charged. You got me.
Like I'll
I just
see
pulled out a
him
sock under
throw it.
Ben's
He's like, and he
microphone.
looks at me and turns around. I'm like, really?
And I'm like, and then I think I met.
and
Yo.
then so if I see like something on
I
the
got
ground,
something- I
I'm
got something to say after.
automatically gonna put it in the laundry, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, where is this? And I'm
Oh
like,
my.
it was on the ground. He's like, yeah, but it was clean. I'm like, well.
Hey, this is some.
You
I'm
asked for
gonna, I'm
it.
gonna say an embarrassing story that happened this past week. No, to me.
Okay.
That happened. Like, okay.
Keep that to yourself.
No. It's just funny because it's me, and like, so I have these boxers. So there's clothes in our room that like I put on the ground or put them like on top of these boxes.
He has
I'm
different
like,
piles
it's
on
like-
the ground.
I was like, I just use it for one day. It's fine. And then I go in my
Wait,
drawer.
you're re-wearing your box?
Hold on. I open my drawer and I was like, oh, my boxer's here. And I was like, wait, I swear I used this recently because it's the only one that I have a bunch of holes in it.
Yo, those are the comfy ones though.
See, she asked me. She's like, I saw.
Those are the comfy
man
ones.
I saw. It's like I saw an Instagram
don't
video, just like
get it.
guys
Mark,
will
can you do
understand.
that?
Yeah.
Only guys understand.
Yeah, Mark.
And so now he got the clean briefs. No, and then like I was like, yo, I swear I've used these recently. I'm like, she's like, well, because she folded up and it was back in the drawer. I'll fold it up
Yeah.
and nice. And I was like, nah, I think I used it. But I was like, I gotta go to work. I had no boxers.
Oh my
so
God.
I reused them. And I was like, ugh. It was so gross. I've never done that in my life. And I was like,
Well,
yeah, I
lesson
might need to
learned,
get
you don't
new
put
boxers.
things around. Or
All right, so we're gonna set up a GoFundMe for new
New
boxers.
boxers.
20 pairs, please. Different ones, though. Because I don't want to get cooked by wearing the same ones. Not that anyone's looking.
Yeah, there's only
Psych,
one person looking.
I think that's it.
Did you guys figure out chores situation?
There.
Yeah, you can go
So
ahead.
there was one situation, one argument, and I won't even call it an argument, but something we learned about each other. I will throw out the trash if no one has. You know what I mean? So I threw it out, and then
And I just want to say I've thrown out the trash.
yes, he has.
The majority of the time.
But I don't know.
Except
I think
this
I was
once.
just really anxious, and I like throwing things away, like anxious, and
No one
so
does that.
and it's been there for days, and I was like, but I didn't mind. I wasn't doing it to like provoke him or anything. I was just like, I'll take it out. I took it out. Our landlord sees, and he was like, "Do you need me to yell at Gil for you?" I'm like, I was like, why? Like I was really clueless. I was like, why? And he's like, you're throwing out the trash. I'll talk to him. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't know. Like, I don't mind. And then I go down.
And he was joking
And
around.
he was
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
joking. And I go down and
Shout
I
out to the
tell Gil.
landlords.
I tell Gil, like, oh, it was so funny. Joe was like, said he was going to yell at you. He's like, what? Why?
Dog, and I was like,
I was like, because I'm taking out the trash. He's like,
like, you wouldn't
"Bro."
understand, but
And
I
so
was, like,
his,
pissed.
So his ego
yeah, my ego was
Oh
definitely hurt.
no.
I was like,
hurted.
bro, I was like, why didn't you like, I was trying to justify, I was like, why didn't you tell me to take out trash?
He called you out? Or are you mad?
Yes, but I was like, I didn't control it because I was like, I didn't tell you to go and take out the trash.
I was
or
like, do you care more about what he thinks or what I think? Which is like, you should have taken out the trash.
But I was like, I didn't know. I just didn't know. And yeah, there was no intention of like, no, you take out the trash. Like, I would definitely have done it if I knew. I was also just on my phone.
yeah. Oh, yeah. So it was a
Pulling
lot of,
those-
like, back
pulling
and
those
forth.
Pokemon
There was
cards.
no yelling.
Damn.
There was no yelling. There was no crying.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
like we were almost like about to laugh in each other's face. I'm like, I can't believe this
Yeah.
is what's happening right now. But that was also like affirming, like, we can work it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without yelling, without crying.
Yeah,
Like this
exactly.
is just something we had to learn.
Yeah.
And so
You learn to laugh about these things.
yeah, we did.
Isn't it crazy
We've
how
done
much
that
you'll
so many times.
Yeah.
Actually, before Mak Mak and Mary came, we were like about to argue, and then I was
Yeah.
like, sorry.
No, like literally, you guys walked in and we
And
had
like-
just an argument, and I was like,
really
I look and I hear my mom's like,
guys.
I was like, hi.
Yeah.
care to enlighten us on
then
that one.
No, it was like it's like literally just about gear. But then I was just sharing knowledge, and I was like,
I was like,
Like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Well, I'll figure it out later. He's like, no, you need to figure it out now, and you need to take my advice. I'm like,
no, okay,
"Whoa."
hold on, I didn't say it like that. I was just like, I suggest
I
doing
suggest.
that. And the thing is, get a camera. We should invest in a camera that can go over 30-minute
When
intervals.
he
That's why I keep
suggests
going up.
something, my mind goes like,
Bro, she said it.
You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, she pissed me off. She was like, I'll invest in it later. I'm like, I want to hear a thank you. I'll take that in consideration. And I was pissed because I was like, I'm just like, why are you giving me the attitude? And she was like, what do you mean you're getting the attitude? I was like, oh my god.
And then you hear, Shh, hi.
And I was like, and then that's why, like, even earlier she was like, I'm sorry. Get your goofy ass up.
But I am saying sorry quicker now. So
She is
That's
not
good.
4 hours.
That's good. That's so real though, honestly. It's crazy all of like the fights that you'll get into being married, but I think what really matters is how you resolve it, because like the fights will always come.
Yeah, totally.
But like you said,
How you
like
resolve it, though.
exactly how you resolve it, and like you're apologizing
Resolution.
faster, and like you're not yelling at each other. Like that's so much improvement.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
We're adults.
Yeah, you're adults. Div on marriage changed, if there's any change.
Let me start.
I'm
I think for me, going into it, like you have point of references from other people on how they
Yeah.
did it, and or learning from other people's mistakes and you not wanting to make those mistakes. And it was not until you kind of reach the point where it's like, you are human. Like you are going to fall short. He's going to fall short. So don't even stress about it.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how much you may tamper around the house and try to make it look perfect over and over and over again, the house is going to be messy in the next hour. So,
Yeah.
so it's not a big deal. And so I've just learned to like really cherish our marriage, like specifically, not like cherishing what I think it should be or what I'm seeing other people do.
Yeah.
That's not really important, because then it distracts you from how God wants to move in your specific relationship. Because if you're always just focusing on other things, you could really be missing out on grace. So it's sometimes like I feel convicted, because it's sometimes when we first started, it was not until a Sunday service where I'm reminded that like literally we're still together. We went through all of that in that entire week. Like a week is crazy, being together. That it was really by his grace that we went through that. And there were moments where we're like, man, like why did I even stress over that little thing? I could have really taken that opportunity to like just sit and like, reflect. And I've been trying to do that a lot more now. So that we're not living to survive marriage, just but actually live in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're still pretty new. Like, we can ask that question 20 years from now.
Yeah.
I think I'm not going to say it's too early to say, but I'm also saying it's like, it is too early to say. Like, I think we're still in our baby stages.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm not saying, like, this is perfect and the stuff that we've already gone through. It's more about, like, lasting if we can do that forever. So ask us when we dead. Ask us. The answer's going to be on my tombstone. But, I mean, it's...
Because I've been hearing, like, people who've been married for, like, 40 years, and they're still learning something new about each other.
Seriously. It's never going to be
And
ending.
so I'm holding on to that as a positive thing, that we'll never get bored of each other, hopefully. But because we have to be open that this person will change in the next year, and so will I. So we have to be open to change and how that will affect us and how that will affect our relationships and our relationship. And so, I think growing up, I don't know what it is, but like, at least in our culture, like getting married and having kids was always like shown like as a not a negative thing, but just like a burden that you just have to endure. And maybe it'll feel like that in the next years for us. I don't know, but like we're really experiencing the fruits of it, and I hope that stays. Yeah.
To kind of wrap up and look ahead into the future, what are you both looking forward to now? You've got your house set up beautifully, about to celebrate your first married Christmas together. So what's the next thing that you guys are looking forward to?
I personally just can't wait to get into the groove of, creating some music, get into just creating I hate saying this word, content that I want to see. But like, I've done it at my home, but like having a place that you can do it.
Yeah, like doing
and just trying
art
to balance
together in separate rooms, and just like, because I think one of the biggest fears some people have is like, oh, I'm gonna lose myself. I'm gonna like all the things that I love I can't do anymore. And I think within our dating, we've always respected each other's individualism, and now we're able to kind of keep each other accountable now. But also like we keep each other lazy too, because it's like, well, who else is gonna see? We're not doing anything. But really, it is cultivating a life. Like, it's such a privilege to be able to do that.
But yeah, like even enjoying the most simplest things. Like the other day, maybe 2 weeks ago, I put a record on. I was doing Legos. She was doing her little clay thing. And it was like bliss. Just so enjoy those, those moments, like just doing nothing with the person that means everything, So
they're like, of course, like the big milestone things, kids in the future and stuff like that. But like, I think now we're just trying to live in the moment, every day.
Love that.
Yeah,
I think that.
What do you guys have to say as our last piece of advice for us moving forward? As a married couple, 4 years.
I would say nothing is really that serious. So
you telling us?
Like, I'm very hot-headed. This is like coming from like, this is advice to myself too. But like, really, the things that we fight about, I don't know if it's just, how like when you see old people bicker a lot, it's just like, why are you guys fighting about those dumb things? We do that sometimes, and I'm just like, I have to catch myself and be like, wait, why? The what?
The pie tin.
Oh, the pie tin. Okay, so
fighting about pie tins.
I was making chicken pot pie, and I was making content, and I was kind of in a rush, and then he put away all the dishes, and he put the pie tins for my chicken pot pie. I don't know where. They're usually like on the top shelf, and I looked everywhere. I swear I looked through the whole kitchen, and I was like, where the hell are these freaking pie tins? And he's playing pickleball. I called him like 2 times. I texted him a bunch. I also Facebook messaged him, and I was like, where the hell are these things? And he finally picked up, and I was like, where did you put them? And I got so mad, but then afterwards I was like, wait. I finished like 40 minutes early, so I was like, maybe I shouldn't have freaked out on him. So yeah, nothing is really that serious, and just be kind to each other. I think I have a hard time with that, but I'm trying to be better at that.
That's good.
Thank you for that.
I think for me, just like words of encouragement. Like I know like we've kind of spent some time with you both and gotten to know you a little better, but hearing some of the stuff that you guys shared in this episode, I guess, it's been really encouraging. I think that you both are on the right track, and the way that you're approaching things is awesome. So just wanted to encourage you both and encourage you both to keep going and keep pressing forward like that. Yeah.
Wait, that's so cute. I want to do a word of encouragement too.
Okay.
This was really nice to just be able to hear you guys process like everything that you went through, and I think it gives a lot of insight into how you both approach relationships with each other, and then also with God in the center. I feel like that really grounds your relationship in a very deeper way, that maybe like not other people are able to even, maybe they don't have a frame of reference for. So I think just even hearing you guys share your stories of how you guys fought but also sought the Lord, or like how you guys are struggling with certain tensions and also sought the Lord, I think that's really admirable. So thank you for sharing your stories and your testimonies.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, that was fun.
Good. Yeah. We
still have time to do outro, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything?
No, I mean, thank you guys for doing this.
Of course, this was fun.
I'm very happy that we connected the way we connected.
Yeah.
And I knew that this was gonna be a good friendship from when I met you guys at church, and then I said, like, I'm gonna get married. I'm gonna get engaged soon, and you were just like, oh, when are you gonna get engaged? Just like super into it when I just met you. And I was like, and I told her, I was like, yeah, these guys are like super into it, like the way you said it, the character, you're just like, you were actually interested, you're not just saying like, I can see that of you too, because the way you like ask questions,
very thoughtful.
Yeah, like you're genuinely like, so what do you think about this? Like you don't just let the conversation die or something. even if the intention was like, let me just not make it awkward or just die out. But like, I don't think that's the case at all. So, but yeah, I mean, thank you guys. Since meeting you guys, it was awesome.
Yeah, and we hope to have you guys again because there's so much within relationships. And this is one of the things coming back on my podcast. I knew that we would experience some new type of conversations, and I have no idea where it's gonna go. But I have always approached this podcast that way, where I don't know where it's gonna go, but I always end up with so much knowledge and wisdom from the people that I grow with, and so I hope to have more relationship stuff after this. Now we can actually talk about relationships.
Literally.
And so thank you also, Gil, for being on the podcast and helping set up.
Hey.
And now he cannot complain when I have podcasts because
I'm gonna be I'm working behind it. Yeah. I'll also be in it, but mainly behind it. But I don't mind.
But no, I mean, I all of this stuff like setting up and everything, I have no real knowledge of. I should probably learn, but it is also like really cool that I get to do this with my friends. Like, it's a great time, a great excuse to be with friends, and so I'm really excited to come back. And if you've haven't heard much about Positive and Ponder, you can check out our Instagram and our website to learn what we do. If you're in the DMV area, please do try to connect with us, as we have in-person events where we cultivate a space, a safe space, a creative space, and for you to get to know other people around you, and where we get to grow together. I think 2025 will be a really great year. I could just feel it, and so I'm super excited for that. If you feel so willing to do so, please do consider becoming a monthly donor or contribute in some way to our organization. All funds go towards Positive and Ponder, and with the mission and vision of empowering those around us. And that's basically it. We'll see you in the next episode. Don't forget to always love, to always be curious, and to always